Welcome to the Leg It Sportcast. It's me, Andy Grant.
It's me, Jordan Neild.
Big thanks again to Social Scousers. Always give them a plug at the start. How are you doing?
Not too bad, mate. All good. You?
Good. We've just recorded our first Leg It Sportcast bonus episode, you call it.
Yeah,
all down to you. You nailed that. So
yeah, we had obviously Luke Willis on it on Instagram and stuff. Boxer, good lad, great chat, really funny, really deep in parts, but really good. And it's something that we're going to do. Sort of, I don't know whether we're going to do 2 a month, 3 a month, maybe 4 a month, but this show stays and a couple of bonus episodes.
Yeah, so the chat we had with Luke will be out on Wednesday. And yeah, really enjoyed it. It was great. Obviously, I was a bit of a passenger in it. Obviously, your expert knowledge of boxing, him living the boxing lifestyle, just ends up finding out things that you just don't even think of.
I think when me and you were speaking about getting guests on, it's about shining sports outside of the light that we all know in terms of, what's right in our face. I think Luke, he went into that a bit more, really.
Wears his heart on the sleeve.
Oh, mate, he's a character, so, to give people like that, a bit of a platform to enjoy having a chat with them. And, hopefully Luke can go on and win titles. But yeah, really looking forward to coming out. I think people will enjoy it. Yeah,
so that's out on Wednesday. Again, really, really enjoyed it. So yeah, make sure you catch that Wednesday. To start the show off properly then, we nailed 8 weeks running, first time we both got our bet in, which meant we landed a 6-1 double. And when I done the workings out, let me just make sure this is correct. If you had placed £10 every week on our bets, so you'd done £10 on my selection, £10 on Jordan's, and £10 on the double, you'd obviously be laying out £30 a week. If you'd done that every single week, you'd be up 83 quid.
Not bad going, though.
I don't think that's bad.
Nah, not for... How long were we going? 8 weeks?
8 weeks, yeah.
You can't complain with that, mate.
Can't complain. So you'd be 83 quid up if you followed us from day one. Yeah, so we landed a 6-1 double at the weekend. I predicted Brentford to win to 0, which they duly did. They won 2-0. I also mentioned, and so did you, Tony to score first goal, which he did. And you obviously nailed the...
Nonito Donaire, yeah.
Absolute bang. I only saw that the clip at a bit of a knockout.
Yeah.
Knocked him down 3 times, apparently.
Yeah, just different level.
Once again, in your prediction, nailing exactly what happened.
Yeah, I mean, I'm made up for Donaire. He's like one of boxing's good guys in a world where there's not so many good guys all the time. But yeah, I think he's now 38. I think that makes him a 4 or 5 time world champion. Still at his best at 38.
Unbelievable.
But the best thing about him is he's like a clean athlete. He's the nicest fella ever. Everything boxing should be, he is, do you know what I mean? And now he's getting... To be honest, he should have had his credit a long time ago, but for whatever reason, he never really has. But now he's starting to get it. What a finish, man.
Brilliant finish. And you said, didn't you, they're both capable of absolutely fucking... Yeah. And the bit I saw, they're just going hell to leather. And it's just like...
For bantamweight as well. The small fellas, really. £122, haven't they? Or £118.
Yeah, it was nice to wake up on that Sunday morning and check my betting account.
Yeah, because I was a bit nervous actually because Brentford rolled in, and then that was early hours when I went to bed that night because I sort of went to bed, got up and watched it. I was thinking, don't, because people were giving us some crazy forfeits, mustaches.
Yes. So there's no forfeit on this week as we both ended up level par. So yeah, 1-0 to you, I guess, and this one was a draw. On that Brentford one, since I backed Brentford, I looked into them a little bit, and I saw a tweet today, and it was about Brentford's owner. I don't know if you know much about him.
Didn't he make a load of money?
Yeah.
I don't know the details. I'm not going to profess to know the details, but I know he's got a bit of an interesting story from betting, hasn't he?
So yeah, basically I'm trying to find. I think I liked it before. He basically was a banker, I think he was, and then I need to try and find the tweets because I won't be able to do it justice. He basically ended up buying Brentford, and he said to the fans, or he loaned them money, and he said, if you can't pay it back, I'll just take it over. He's ended up taking it over and used the model of, the moneyball.
Yeah.
And just kind of took the football men out and just used analysts and, all of this kind of stuff, and he's took them to the promised land.
Boss.
I'll try and get the tweet and I'll attach it.
I said last week I was made up that day come up because it's something new, isn't it?
Yeah.
I get bored of not to offend anyone who supports these teams, but the constant up-down of West Brom.
The yo-yo teams, aren't they?
Norwich are going to do the exact same next year. It's tough.
have found it. So a professional sports gambler used analytics to turn a 700 grand loan into more than 300 million. So basically Matthew Benham graduated from the world-renowned University of Oxford in 1989. So went to Oxford Uni, he spent 12 years working in finance, eventually being named vice president at the Bank of America. In 2001, he decided to change careers and joined a sports gambling company called Premier Bet. He learned under one of the most successful gamblers in the world, Tony Bloom, and after a couple of years, Matthew Benham and Tony Bloom had a falling out. He then left in 2003, didn't go back into investment banking. He was now a full-time professional sports gambler. He went on to win millions of dollars gambling on sports, but in 2004 he set up his own betting syndicate called Smart Odds, with a simple idea. He consulted clients using the same algorithms, statistics and data research that made him a successful sports gambler. Smart Odds became a massive success. Benham now also owns Matchbook, a popular sports betting exchange. With financial freedom, Benham was able to pursue his other passion, Brentford. Attended his first game at 11, he was been a massive lifelong fan. So when the club faced financial trouble in 2007, he stepped up. He provided a 700 grand loan so that the Brentford supporters could purchase the team, but there was a catch. Benham provided the 700 grand on the basis that if the fans didn't choose to repay the loan, he could have the club. In 2012, they didn't want to pay the loan back, which resulted in him owning the club. And he decided to play moneyball. He spent 10 million on a smaller club in Denmark called FC, I can never say that Midtjylland.
Midtjylland, yeah, the one they're always in like the Champions League qualifiers, isn't it?
So he bought them to test his analytic concept, and the idea worked that well that he's then used it on Brentford. So basically he fired all the staff members, bringing in more analytically minded people that lacked traditional experience. The club also stopped caring about wins and losses. Instead, they developed a set of key performance indicators that determined if they were making progress or not. For example, Brentford started to look more closely at expected goals rather than how many goals a player actually scored. Their theory was that in a low-scoring sport that is skewed by randomness and luck, the quality and quantity of chances created during a match mattered more. The biggest move ever was while the top clubs in the world were investing millions of dollars into youth academies, Brentford decided to eliminate that completely. Yeah. Instead, they relied on their B team of 17 to 20-year-olds that were rendered useless by many other clubs. In doing so, they ended up having a really successful, part with them. They, for example, Ben Rahama, bought him for 3.8 million, sold for 40. Ollie Watkins was bought for 2.3, sold for 36. And Neil Maupay, is it?
Yeah, he went for Brighton, didn't he?
2.1 million, sold for 26. The results were immediate, but now a decade later they've pulled off. After winning the Championship playoff final last weekend, Brentford have now completed its ascent to the fourth tier of English football. The best part, it's worth 300 million plus.
Clever man. That's why, when obviously we get involved with sort of betting and stuff, but that's the successful people, as we've said many times, they're not. Betting's got so many dimensions to it, do you know what I mean? They're obviously, that's why we have responsible gambling and stuff, because if you play the game of, your 14-fold accumulators or betting on horses that you got no idea about or, stuff like that. Yeah. That's the bad side of it. But the good side of it is if you can knuckle down, that's what can happen. Yeah.
Well, like you've proved with the boxing, if you can become an expert in a field, okay, you're not going to win every single time. Yeah. You're definitely putting the odds in your favour.
And I think that's what is good about the podcast, because we're starting to shine that in the light. I mean, we spoke about exchanges and stuff like that, but, showing people that, there's a different way of gambling without being the bookie's best mate sort of thing. Yeah. And it's true. And, I think we should obviously talk about responsible gambling in depth maybe on a future show, but it's true, you've got to have a system, you've got to have a way of working. Yeah. And that is absolute top of the tree.
He's obviously a clever fella, went to Oxford Uni, he's obviously a clever guy, but he's made it work. He's not been gambling, just because it's, you don't want, when you think, it's got to happen. Actually, no, it doesn't.
The problem is, with gambling, is everyone wants the immediate return. There's very few people who've got patience enough to have a bankroll and watch that steadily grow, take a few losses, but watch that steadily grow. Everyone wants to put in 20 quid and take out $4,000, and it doesn't happen unless you see people who put £2 on and 20-fold and win £1 million or something like that. Yes, it happens, but it's a complete luck. Yeah. So, and I think that's obviously important for us to tell people, with our tips and stuff, we'll never promise them people are going to be millionaires. No. We don't tell you to we never say put 50 quid on this, 100 quid on this. this is obviously fun, but what we do guarantee is obviously well-researched tips, and the fact that, you know, both of us are looking at gambling in a more deeper sense,
100%.
rather than you know, just logging onto Sky Bet and picking what
random ones, betting on fucking Chinese women's under sixes or something, you know.
But no, it's interesting, that really interesting. It's kind of root for them now.
No, I'm made up to say I want to see that Tony as well. He broke 31 goals, scored again in the final, had another chance off the bar and off the line.
So hope they can keep hold of him. There's going to be a few people sniffing around, won't they? But
yeah. And
obviously if they're doing that in terms of buying and selling, I don't know what they bought him for, but
yeah, would they be happy to take a big profit on him? Who knows?
I think he looks like a Prem player all over, doesn't he?
He's 25 yet, so I think got the best years ahead of him. So yeah, I'm the same as you, mate. Glad Brentford come up with something a bit different. Hopefully in a away ground I could go to that I've been to before. So yeah, that's kind of concluded the football end season really as well, didn't it?
Yeah, and then Everton stepped up.
You know what, I'm conscious of talking about this and not coming across as, you know, being bitter. But I don't know where they go from here.
I don't, mate, it's tough.
I really don't.
And like two of my best mates, Paul and Adam, both Blues. So we have a load of like back and forth and stuff like that. But I said to them, like I've always said, if Ancelotti didn't get it right at Everton, he might as well turn the lights off. And I still stand by that. I mean, I don't know, the circumstances he's left in are a bit dodgy for me, but like...
In what sense?
In terms of, he was saying, like, this is a long-term plan and all that stuff. Like, why has he gone back to old ground of Real Madrid?
Lad, if Madrid come calling,
I know.
You're not saying no.
I know, but he's...
Apparently there was a clause in his contract where if any of the certain clubs come in, he could just go.
But that, I think, even initially...
And he's took a wage cut.
Has he, yeah? I don't know, but... It's one of them, it just feels a whole ground, but as you say, if Real Madrid come calling, they do come calling, but Everton, next appointment, where do they go? Because if they go to like a young manager, going to be murder. The Eddie Howe's and stuff like that, going to be murder. There's a very shortage on the top managers, like Conte and stuff like that, but the problem Neville's got is there's also teams without managers, big teams. So they're in such a hard place.
The way I look at it, I think they've done the British manager route with David Moyes. They all wanted them out by the end. And they've done the young European manager with Martinez. Didn't get them nowhere. They've done the recruit from within with Unsworth and Ferguson. Not worked. They went for the fucking being there, got the t-shirt, Sam Allardyce, he'll do a job. And they've also punched way above the weight and got Carlo Ancelotti, one of the most successful managers in the world. And that hasn't worked. So I don't know where else you go.
The mad thing is like there's so much potential with Everton. Like obviously they have got money, they got the stadium and stuff, but it's like they just can't, for the life of them, they just cannot get it right. And it's sort of like it goes from being sort of having a rivalry and it being funny to being like, what is going on? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no. As much as I'm like fucking hell, I like laughing a bit. Like I am genuinely like, what the?
How do you keep fucking it up?
Yeah.
But I think
the money that they've spent and the average finishes and stuff. I was speaking to my mate Gary. He got the Across the Park podcast.
Yeah.
And he was saying that actually it was a better season. Although points, position-wise, 10th wasn't as good as, I think, 8th last season. Points-wise, they'd got, I think, 10 or 15 more points. Yeah, I think
if they'd have finished on them points in like previous season, they'd be way further up the table or something like that.
So however you're going to look at it.
I think the one thing Everton fans were banking on is this was always a build, wasn't it? So they were okay finishing 10th. Not okay, but they were like, okay, we're finishing 10th, but we signed some good players last year. He'll go again this year. We'll improve. It was like a plan. He'll be here for 4 or 5 years, and he'll get us to where we need to be. But then that's cut short. So now you're back into the transition phase that you were in 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Now another manager needs time. Another manager needs to build his team. Before you know it, 6 years down the road.
Is Machedi going to keep on giving all these managers tens of millions?
I don't know. It makes no business sense, does it? Well,
I think as well, like you say, this new manager's going to come in. Is he going to like the players that he's already got? And I think the biggest pull that they had with Carlo was he can bring in big players.
Yeah, the players played for him, didn't he? Hammers.
You know, are they going to keep on bringing in these big names that they need?
Who would you go for? Or if you were an Everton fan?
Yeah, I'd just take a punt and throw Rooney in or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean,
go completely left field.
Young British manager, and he's got knows the club.
I think I'd go.
I don't know what else you can do.
No, I think I'd maybe go that. The guy from Wolves, maybe. But why did he leave Wolves? Do you know, people were saying like, has he got Has he had another job lined up that's fell short? Do you know what I mean? And then, but I mean, he's a good manager. He's done well with Wolves, and he sort of brought his own players in, didn't he? The Portuguese thing, but I maybe take a punt on that. But it's mad. Well, they've got to get it done and done quick as well, because the Euros next week, that flies by. It's middle of July. Do you know what I mean?
It's pre-season then in July, isn't it? You've only got 4 or 5 weeks until pre-season, so
it's, as a football fan, like not as a Liverpool fan, as a football fan, it's so interesting because they've got to get it right now. And like, I know I feel like I've said that loads, but I just don't know where to go.
I do feel sorry for, I say that as a laughing, but like you look at the bloody top names: Brendan Rodgers, Rafa Benitez, Steven Gerrard. If you're an Everton fan, you cannot be.
No.
How are you happy looking at my next manager could be a fucking Liverpool legend? Apart from Rodgers, but I mean, Rafa, European Cup, Gerrard. Did you really want them at your club?
I think they're at the point now. What they do, but I seen a tweet saying, made me laugh. Like, to finish on that subject on high, someone said, I'm guaranteed Everton's a social experiment to see how far one man can be pushed. Because every time they get like a little bit of success, they just like something just falls down. But
there's some funny tweets like saying, can't wait to see the fucking murder at Everton Madrid next season.
Someone said, I call me fucking dog Carlo.
Oh no.
But,
there will have been people who've done that.
There's loads of them. Loads.
I know a dog called Rafa by mine. Oh, Carlo, imagine that. Oh, that poor fucking dog's going to be getting booted everywhere, isn't it?
But yeah, I think that was the big football talking point, wasn't it, this week?
Yeah.
Crazy.
And like you say, we spoke about it a few episodes ago, the bit of a merry-go-round with strikers and also now managers. Conte's left Inter. Zidane. Lukaku said he's not leaving Inter, hasn't he? He said, I don't know whether he ends up, he will leave or not. I think Juve have just got a new manager in, haven't they?
They got rid of Pillow, don't know who they've put in.
I'm sure they've got someone in already. Just spark a big domino effect, really, hasn't it?
Literally, and as we said loads of times, this summer's going to be one of the craziest summers we'll probably have seen. And it doesn't help that there's a big, massive tournament in the middle.
No.
Because you can't get business done. So the likelihood is teams like Everton, Tottenham, people in transition, are not going to be getting players until back end of July, early August. So then it takes bedding them in before you know it's Christmas. You know what I mean? These tournaments are not kind to teams, but that's the position we're in.
No, it's interesting. Maybe you should get Stephen Beck's on again, the footy agent. Tapping up's illegal, but if two players play for different clubs on international duty together, how the fuck are they not talking about day-to-day life?
I'm sure, didn't Gerrard talk? I think Gerrard was when he was leaving 2004, was he? And he was Chelsea was sniffing about him, and I think there was another tournament, the World Cup or Euros or something. I think in his book he was saying like no one was really saying it, but everyone was implying it. You know what I mean? Like, what are you doing? Do you want to, like, just opening that conversation? But no way it doesn't happen. Don't care if it's illegal or not. There's no way it doesn't happen.
Not like.
You're not going to sit there and just pretend it's not happening. Like you say, you're having lunch with your teammate, you're not going to sit there and go, all right.
Just walking onto the training field and just be like, hey lad, would you never ever think about, you know?
Yeah, it's the same with like the Trent getting picked or not getting picked. There's no way the players weren't talking about that.
Oh, like, no, yeah. And how can everyone else talk about it and then all these are just, oh no, let's not.
It's nuts. Well, he did get picked in the end, but got injured.
I didn't watch the game. No. Like I say, I'm not a massive England fan. I will watch it when the tournament gets going and stuff, but I wasn't really that interested. No. And yeah,
he didn't look good. I didn't see the game myself, but I've seen the clip, and as he's walking off, he's sort of shaking his head as if to say it's whatever's gone or whatever. But
I just selfishly just want him to be alright for Liverpool.
Yeah, me too.
Gutted for him. He'll obviously want to play, but if it means he gets an extra few weeks off, I won't be bothered.
And for us, we can't really afford our team not to hit the ground running next year.
No.
Do we need to?
They got the deal done with Kanate as well.
Yeah, he's another one. Like, I'm not going to prefer. I've not watched loads of him. Looks fucking brilliant on YouTube.
Yeah, does look great. He looks massive, doesn't he?
Yeah. I think that's good because as much as we love Van Dijk and Gomez, I'm not stupid. I think both of them maybe, there's going to be periods next year when they either need to sit out or they have little niggles here and there because it does happen.
Well, Gomez was quite injury prone anyway, wasn't he? So I think
you can't rely on Matip, can you?
No, I think so. If you've got like Nat Phillips and Kanate there, possibly whether they keep Matip or not. But yeah, I think
like exactly what we were talking about last week. Strength and depth, and that's what we need badly. We need our starting 11 all on song can go against anyone, proving that, but it's the next level, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then, but I've seen Kaito wants to stay. I don't know if you've seen that.
He wants to. That's the one different thing than whether we want him to.
So, but yeah, it's Liverpool again, another interesting one. But glad to see us getting business done early.
Yeah.
Because I hate when it drags on. You know, when someone signs on like deadline day and then don't play till October or something.
Yeah.
It's tough.
I don't know whether that Kanate is playing in the tournament, is he, this summer, is he? Or is he?
Don't know. To be honest,
I don't even know where he's from.
Hopefully not. But yeah, the Euros, like, I'm not, as I said to you earlier, like, I need to do a bit of digging in it this week, obviously, because we're going to talk about it next week. But the only squad I've seen is Portugal, because that's who I fancy to win it.
Do you?
Yeah, just Ronaldo, innit? I think there's so many weak teams. There's only very few strong teams. So if you look at them, they got the guy from Atletico Madrid, Felix, got Bernardo Silva, Ronaldo, Bruno Jota, Bruno Fernandes. Got the kid from centre half at Man City, Diaz, centre half, who's like everyone's talking about being the best centre half in the world now. So I think the 10 to 1 as well.
Are they?
Yeah,
who's the favourite?
10 or 9. England are not the favourites. England or France.
No, they're not.
I'm telling you now.
I am not having England as the favourites.
I'm telling you now, England.
Not won a trophy since 1966.
They're up favourites. There. France 9-2, England 5-1, Belgium 6-1, Germany 7s, Spain 15-2, yeah, Portugal 8-1.
Fucking take me money now.
Telling you. I've had a few gentleman bets on Twitter, I don't know if you've seen this week, about England getting knocked out. I said they will only get to the quarters, no further, if anything. But anyone who's back on 5-1 England is mad.
Yeah.
I'd rather back 500 to 1 Finland.
Anyone who's back in England at 5-1 needs to bet responsibly.
yeah, massively. But it's the crazy thing that comes with England, isn't it? Every year, every tournament.
I think people get swept up in it, don't they? And that's a stupid price.
Ridiculous, isn't it? There's no value in 5-1 for England.
Where are Croatia on that?
33s.
We couldn't even beat Croatia. And yet we're fucking 5-1.
I think they're in the group. Anyone, North Macedonia.
We got beat by it in semis, didn't we? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Craziness. But I think,
there'll be some good bets to be had on the Euros.
Because you've got Italy 11s, Holland 12s. But yeah, I think Portugal 8-1's a solid bet, mate.
I'll be jumping on it.
I think they're so good. It's that front six. I don't know the other side of Fernandes is, but that like front six just so good.
You just look at the season Fernandes has had, like...
Got match winners, haven't he?
Yeah.
In tournament football, you need someone, because inevitably you don't always play well, but they've got so many match winners. Yeah. Jota, Ronaldo, obviously. That João Felix who plays for Atletico Madrid. Fernandes can score a free kick whenever he wants. He's got match winners.
Yeah, mate, I totally agree. Agree.
More of that next week.
Yeah. Well, yeah, there isn't much sport this week, is there?
I mean, boxing, obviously we've got Mayweather fighting the other fella, but we'll leave that. Because we were saying, to go back to the episode, obviously we spoke to Luke about it, which is fun.
Yeah.
But that's a farce.
What do you think will happen on it, though?
So have you seen the rules? There's no judges. Knockouts are allowed, but if it gets to the end, I think it's just the ref just chooses who wins.
Fuck off.
I swear to God.
Are you messing?
No, they just, there's no judges. But there can be knockouts.
Why is there no judges?
No idea.
They're just fucking making up as they go along, aren't they?
But Sky Sports Boxing, shame on you. They're putting things out saying he can't, can he? Like video clips of Logan Paul saying, I've been training for a year, I'm ready. And I've seen, like, Carl Froch and stuff, I've seen this, like, they've been putting articles out this week. Carl Froch, another one of the analysts, I don't know who, was saying, Floyd is old.
Oh my God.
Is it Jake? It's Logan Paul, this one.
I don't know.
So this is
I work
Logan
hard
Paul.
to not know.
Yeah. So, yeah, he's got absolutely no fucking chance. Like me and you playing golf with fucking Tommy Fleetwood or someone and being like, fucking do him.
Yeah. Train for a fucking year, me, lad.
Or doing the national course with fucking Ruby Walsh.
Yeah.
You're just not, you can't win, it's impossible. So, yeah, I think Floyd's going to fuck about. Probably, hopefully. Do you know what? I say hopefully knock him out, but I don't want him to knock him out because I'm conscious that if one of these do get knocked out and do get hurt, boxing picks up the tab. It's like that fucking sport of boxing's terrible, ban it. Do you know what I mean? When it's not, it's just irresponsibly allowing people to think the boxers is terrible.
So how many rounds do you go over?
8 3-minute rounds. But This fella's like, I think, £225 or something. Floyd Mayweather's like 160 odd, probably because he hasn't barely trained.
It's fucking annoying me thinking about it.
But, as I said, to not reiterate points, circus acts have always happened. Muhammad Ali, these have always happened, and I'm fine with it. If it's sold as a circus act, entertainment.
Yeah, when people are actually trying to get on board.
It's getting sold as Sky Sports boxing pay-per-view now. And he's talking...
Sky Sports are charging 20 quid for it. I think they're fucking
desperate, aren't they? They know Eddie's leaving. Just desperate money grab, one last money grab. They're obsolete now, I believe, in boxing. And I believe sort of Sky Sport in general is going to be obsolete before long because...
Oh mate, it won't be long before Amazon come in.
No. And I think they know that. I think Sky Sports Boxing definitely know that. They've been blown out the water by the zone. Eddie's seen it, fucked off. They know that days are numbered, so let's get one last cash grab. But I mean this in the nicest way possible. Anyone who listens to our show or like speaks to us about boxing, if you buy this,
yeah, you're fucking
part of the problem. Just don't buy it. Just watch. I don't know, if you want to watch, just watch the clip on Twitter in the morning.
30-second. Yeah, that's all I'll be doing.
But yeah, it's pathetic. But outside of that, Daniel Dubois comes back, who's obviously one of the leading sort of heavyweight hopes in Britain. He was I don't know if you've seen.
Is he under Frank Warren?
Yeah, but he got beat by Joe Joyce last November. He got stopped in 10 rounds. His eye, he smashed his eye to bits, took a knee, took a load of criticism of people saying he quit and stuff like that. But he's now switched trainer. He's with Shane McGuigan. Okay. He's regarded as probably one of the best up and coming trainers in the world. Makes his return against a fella called BOGDAN Dinu, and although his name's quite funny, he's
BOGDAN Dinu.
BOGDAN Dinu.
BOGDAN Dinu.
Yeah, he's from Romania. He looks like a boxer, but he's 20-2, 16 KOs. His two defeats have been knockouts by Jarrell Miller and Kubrat Pulev, who are probably... Well, Jarrell Miller got popped for drugs, but Pulev's a decent fighter. Decent. It's a good bit of matchmaking, to be fair, to bring Dubois back, because a bit like what we said with Chris Eubank Jr. a few weeks ago, he's under a new trainer. He's probably going to want him work on a few things. Sort of, we know he can punch. We don't need to see him flatten someone in the round. You know, we've seen all that before he got stopped last time. We need to see him develop Daniel Dubois 2.0, really. You know, show what he's been working on with Shane McGuigan, and then, you know, get the knockout, you know, maybe second half of the fight or whatever, but, you know, show that one defeat doesn't break everything. But to be honest, it's weird this. I was never really on the Daniel Dubois thing, because to me it just looks like a carbon copy of Anthony Joshua. It looks like Frank wasn't looking for Anthony Joshua. Big lad, can punch, blah, blah, blah. But sort of now he's got to defeat it, I'm sort of on board now, because I'm like, sort of let's see what
he can do now.
Let's see what he's got. Do you know what I mean? Bounced back from his defeat, goes on a little winning streak, you start thinking, like, you're well in. Like, you think, you know, it's not just this sort of marketing ploy. But yeah, I'm really interested in it, actually. It should be a
Where
good...
can you watch that?
BT Sport, just standard BT Sport. It's got a good... It's got a lot of like prospects on the undercard, but it's a good fight. You know, I'd expect Dubois to win. But I've seen 9-2 for him to win in 7-12, which I think, you know, you're probably going to touch lucky if Bogdan Dinu gets to 7. But I can definitely see, you know, maybe over 3.5, over 4.5 rounds, because I do think he'll need a bit of time. Shane McGuigan is not going to say to him, like, Daniel, we worked on this, just go in and blast them out, because what is the point? No. You're going to go in, yeah, what that thing we've been working on, do that for a round, get yourself comfortable, get back under the lights. So yeah, I think I don't know if I'll have a play on it, but 7-12, 9-2, probably worse bets than that this weekend. But I think he'll definitely get a few rounds under his belt. Hopefully he looks good. Tommy Fury's on the undercard.
Is he?
Tyson's little brother.
Yeah, who's he fighting?
Jordan Grant, 2-0. Never beat anyone, but yeah. But he wants the Jake Paul fight as well, doesn't he?
I've seen that, yeah. That's the other reason why I was joking when I unfollowed Tyson. It's because they're calling out
YouTubers.
And I'm like, why are you fucking doing that? You're going about you're a fighting man and all this, and yet there you are calling out fucking YouTubers. Made no sense. There's
another lad on the undercard as well. It's called Nathan Heaney. I'll try and I don't know if we can flick the clip up or whatever, but I'll send it to you. He's from Stoke. I think there's only 1,000 allowed in this arena on Saturday. I think he sold like 600 of the 1,000 tickets or something. Got a mad following from Stoke.
Has he, yeah?
And there's a clip from the York Hall where he walks out to the why Delilah.
I've seen it.
And he's like jousting all the crowd.
Like
yeah. And so he's on the undercard.
I get that on the clip, yeah.
When fans do come back, the next time they have a packed out arena with him, be unreal, I think.
Yeah.
It's like the Ricky. I don't know.
It's a proper town hall, isn't it?
Yeah. They're all like hanging over the balcony, and he's like Stoke flagged everywhere.
Yeah,
but I'm not. He's not Ricky Hatton, but he's 11-0 middleweight. I think it's a good little story. It'd be good to see the fans when they get in and sort of can go mad with him.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's on the undercard.
And I looked before me went regards to footy this weekend. I know the French Open's on at the moment. I think that might conclude Friday, I'm not even sure. Let me see, what are we up to now in the French Open? It's up to the... Oh no, it's only just started really. Last 16. Yeah, the last 16 is going on the 4th, which is Friday. So you got the French Open that's going on at the moment. I'm not going to try and make out that I'm any kind of tennis expert. I do like watching the tennis.
Yeah,
to be honest,
I'm a proper fair weather tennis fan. I watch all the big.
Yeah,
it's one of them sports, isn't it? Like it's so technical. Like,
you
have you ever tried tennis?
Solid, mate. Yeah,
you look like you think I could do that. You hit the ball and just go.
You got Nadal still. You can't get a lot of value in a lot of the bets. I mean, Nadal's playing Gasquets on Friday. Gasquets is 25-1. Do you know what I mean? You don't get much value in it at all. I might look at it. Djokovic is playing as well. Lad he's playing is 18-1. So, yeah, you'd probably fancy a Djokovic Nadal final, but I'm not really going to look at that until a bit closer to the semis. Really,
I think that this generation of tennis is crazy, and like Federer, Nadal, Djokovic.
You'd be wounded, wouldn't you, if you were that good and you didn't kind of have a good 5 years on your own?
Yeah,
like the way Pete Sampras did.
Yeah, they're always going to be like connect. Like you never say Nadal without saying Federer, do you? No. You never say also Djokovic.
Federer, and Nadal have carried the sport, haven't they?
Feel for Andy Murray, mate. He's just always been number 4 now.
Yeah, always.
Well, obviously, he's struggling with his injuries and stuff, but it's a tough generation.
He won either the Olympics or Wimbledon one year, didn't he?
Yeah.
Can't remember which one it was. It was in 2012. He won one or the other. But apart from that, he hasn't looking really, has he?
I think he did win a major, didn't he? But then he's like, but how can you go up against them three? No. Do you know what I mean? They just keep Federer's getting better.
They're unreal, aren't they?
He's one of them players. He plays tennis, which is like the most sort of intermittent sport ever. Highest heart rate. He doesn't even break a sweat.
I know.
It's ridiculous. But yeah, we got some good UFC this weekend as well, which is always good. That took a break last week.
Yeah, sorry mate, I'm just looking at the outrights for the Nadal is 3-4 to win that. But yeah, sorry mate, yeah, UFC.
Yeah, so UFC's back 2 heavyweight to the top of the card, which is always good fun. Jairzinho Rozenstruik versus Augusto Saki. Both can get chinned and both can seriously chin. So it's going to be, I don't reckon that's going to last long. There's a bit of like British interest on the undercard as well. Like called Tom Breese is on there. I don't know if you know much about Tom Breese, but he's from Birmingham. Proper talented guy. Like the UFC have always loved him. Middleweight always tried to push him, but when UFC come to London, I think 2018 was it with Darren Till, he was on the prelims, and I believe he had like he never walked to the thing. He just said no, I'm not going. Sort of had like I think he's got some anxiety issues, or you know, he physically couldn't make the walk, and he didn't.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah. So he sort of contemplated quitting, I think, and then come back. He sort of put like a win and a loss together in there. But the UFC are dead high on him. They really push him. Oh. But he's unbelievably talented. Like you have a look at his Instagram, he's like just like a gymnast doing all these crazy flips and stuff. But I think a lot of it, you know, he just can't. Just mentally sometimes not in the right place. But so interesting. But you know, if he gets to the octagon, he's brilliant. So. He's on, so that's something to always keep a lookout for. And then there's a guy called Mason Jones, who's a Welsh lad. He won the Cage Warriors world title. Made his UFC debut. I believe it was on Fight Island, you know, when they were on in Abu Dhabi. And he picked up a loss, but it was a brilliant fight. So he's looking, obviously, in his second fight to get a win. So yeah, that's another little bit of British interest. But it's a really good card. These fights, they do... these main event fight nights or whatever they call them, they're always good. Like obviously they're still at the UFC Apex in Vegas, where it's like sort of behind closed doors and stuff like that. But you know, the main events, 2 heavyweights, that'll be be fun while it lasts. Again,
we said it before, UFC seems to have kept our content going anyway. It's great, and again, it's more eyes on UFC, which can only be a good thing.
Yeah, I say BT Sport. My little Sunday morning ritual, really. I don't stay up for them, but I get up on a Sunday morning, bang, straight on, catch up, and I think it's just evolving into an absolute phenomenon. But we really would recommend this card this weekend. It'd be really good.
My bet this weekend, not confident on it whatsoever, but it's in the horse racing.
Yeah.
Again, I've just had a quick-ish look.
It's the derby in it this weekend.
Yeah. Well, that's what I've gone for. It's Bolshi Ballet, 5-4.
Yeah.
Ryan Moore on it.
Like it.
It's just a bit of a... I'm a look. Don't really fancy anything sport-wise. No footy on. Don't know much about tennis.
Very tough week. But,
I'm just clutching at straws, to be honest. I had a quick look at there, and I think that if I was going to have a little play in a couple of quid, I'd maybe do the twist forecast with Mac Sweeney. That's currently at 7s, but Bolshoi Ballet is 5-4. Bit of a shit house bet, to be honest.
It's tough, mate. It's really tough this weekend, and that is why next week we'll speak about. I think we should actually corner a little bit of the episode off to speak about the responsible gambling and stuff like that. Yeah, we'd run a thing because
that is one of those bets where you think there's nothing to bet on. I'll just fucking throw 100 quid. Whatever you'd normally bet on the footy, I don't know, whatever that may be. You'll end up throwing that money on something you don't know fuck all about. I
mean, it serves its purpose for our little tipping competition, which is great, but...
Yeah, that's what I mean. And for the purpose of this, I'm tipping it up. Yeah. But I wouldn't be having a great bet on it.
No. I think that's the same with me. I think as I said, the Daniel Dubois, I think you can... Over 3.5, over 4.5, probably worth a go. I don't know the odds. 7 and 12, 9-2. I'd have a look at that, but... I'm torn between two UFC bets for this weekend. So, the guy I was talking about then, Mason Jones, he's in a 3-rounder, so he's 2-1 to win by decision. I think he might want to make a statement, which means he might go for the finish, but as we said time and time again, the UFC is a different level, so I think him to win a decision at 2-1 is probably good. But I'm going to go for the big heavyweight fight, Rosenstruik versus Saki, to be under 1.5 at 11-8. It's because I just think these two can run at each other.
Do you reckon?
Yeah, so I reckon within
under 2 rounds.
Yeah, under 2 rounds, under 1.5. These two are not gonna.
Really, you think?
Yeah, they'll just. I honestly believe they'll just. As soon as one of them lands, it's game over.
I want to watch it now, just for your tip.
Yeah, we'll wake up on Sunday and do a 5-round decision. Yeah. But, I think that's the one I'm going to go for. Rosenstruik Saki under 1.5, 11-8. As I say again, very, very tough week. I reckon we might be both sitting here with a bit of a 0-0 next week.
I think so too.
But yeah, really.
The derby is on as well on Saturday, 4 Epsom derby.
Yeah, so watch that, enjoy. But I think obviously next week we've got the Euros kicking off and stuff.
Yeah, I think there'll be some good little anti-post bets in the Euros as well, like maybe top goal scorers and things like that. I think your punt on Portugal already, I think looks good. But yeah, a bit more content next week. But yeah.
Spot on, mate.
Yeah, thanks for listening, guys. Thanks for all the support as well. Hopefully you'll enjoy the guests we've got coming on the Sportscast as well. Really enjoyed our chat today with Luke. I think you will too. That'll be out on Wednesday. And yeah, have a boss weekend.